Welcome into Hand Raised Guys. In this case, Hand Raised Guy, presented by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. My name is Neal McCready. I'm in the Clark Ford Studios. I will take your calls on the Campbell Clinic Hotline. Tell you all about all that stuff in just a moment. We'll start off by saying I know there's a lot of stuff today. I know a lot of people are anxious. I understand. But the Thunder have not gotten the Clippers' first pick yet. The Clippers still have to tank the whole thing. But right now, I'm kidding. It's a joke. Not gonna pretend. Just all I ask is be nice, be civil. Don't even have to be nice. Just be civil. Appreciate civilness on the show this evening. That would be greatly appreciated. A lot to get to. People are gonna call. All right, hang on. Caller, I'm going to get to you, but I do have to pay the bills up front here. So hang tight. Be right to you, okay?
All
right. Brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. It's warm out today. It's going to get chilly, though. We had a little taste of the cold. You know the cold's coming. December right around the corner. Holidays right around the corner. Now would not be a great time to fire up the heater and find out it doesn't work or to find out there's a problem. Now would be a great time to get on the list with Comer and Southern. Get your heating unit checked out. Make sure everything is good to go. And that way, when the cold weather comes and you've got family in for the holidays or whatnot, and you go to hit the button, you can do it with, confidence, if you will, knowing that you're going to be fine. If you're in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or those areas, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, South Haven, Olive Branch, those areas, call Southern 662-429-4429. Getting ready to go to the Campbell Clinic Hotline here in just a moment. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit CampbellClinicOxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111. I'm in the Clark Ford Studios. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. If you're in the market for a F-150, a Bronco, now's a really good time to be getting in touch with Corey and the people at Clark Ford. There are some things happening with those two vehicles in particular. If you're interested, now would be a good time to check. If you just want to get a quote on a Ford of your interest or your choice, call them. You get a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line, no hassle, no haggle. Get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop it around. You can do what I've done. What I recommend that you do is hop into a Clark Ford today. And this will be the Friday, late Thursday, early Friday, Blue Sky Live. If you're coming in this weekend, Ole Miss basketball tomorrow night. UC Bakersfield, Cal State Bakersfield, I should say, at Tad Pad, one final game at Tad Smith Coliseum, 6:30 tomorrow night. And then, of course, Ole Miss and Florida, 6 p.m. at Vaught Hemingway on Saturday. If you're coming in for the weekend, make sure you stop at a Blue Sky. Coming in, coming out, fill up. Always great, safe at the pump, safe inside as well. Lots of soda, beer, snacks, whatever you're looking for, plate lunches, ribs, all of that stuff at Blue Sky throughout the state of Mississippi. We certainly appreciate Ben Craddock and all of the people, David Craddock, all the people at Blue Sky for sponsoring this show for the better part of like 11 and a half years or something, some incredible number. We're incredibly grateful. Thank you. And with that, caller, thanks for waiting. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
Thanks, Neal. This is Chuck in Atlanta.
Hey, Chuck.
First, just wanted to say good luck tonight. I think you're in for one. I know myself. I've poured myself a drink. But first thing I wanted to ask specifically is just over the last couple of days, I don't know if you can answer it.
Yep.
What specifically has changed with Lane and the Florida job, and what information has shifted into that direction, if you can answer it?
Yeah. So I'll quickly recap a little bit. There was some information that started to kind of leak a little bit last weekend. Really didn't feel like there was a lot of You couldn't tell whether there was a lot of smoke to it or not. There was definitely smoke. You couldn't tell if there was any fire. I think Monday's press conference with Lane raised some eyebrows a little bit. But then over the last couple of days, what has happened is there's just a specificity of information that is out there. And that information got pretty specific yesterday, and then more so this morning even. If you're familiar with Chase and I, we work these, Chase and me, Mom, I apologize for the grammatical mistake. We work these things completely different. He works a lot locally. I work a lot from the outside. And a lot of our information started to really mesh and was accurate, not accurate, but I think it's accurate, honestly. But our information began to match a little bit more than it had throughout the process. And we've been working this thing since the middle of October. I mean, really, the week of the Oklahoma game, this thing was getting pretty real. Florida fired Billy Napier. It got hot. It really hasn't cooled off, to be honest. And then there just was a specificity about look, I can't prove at this point that there's been discussions, but I'd bet a lot of money on it. I can't prove that Florida has made an offer known to Lane Kiffin, but I'd bet a lot of money on it. And then as for one of the alarms that goes off a little bit when you're covering this is that there's a real confidence, and it's not a blustery confidence. It's just kind of a quiet, matter of fact confidence on that end, and there's a definite unknown on the Ole Miss end, and it's not from a lack of effort. Ole Miss is doing everything it possibly can to retain Lane Kiffin. That's been the case for months, for years, frankly, but in this particular situation, months. There's been a lot of communication. Lane, I believe at the end of this, wherever he ends up, Lane Kiffin will, for at least an hour, be the highest paid coach in college football. And that means Ole Miss is willing to go there. There's no question about that. Lane Kiffin knows it, and yet it hasn't gotten done. I think you have to start to go, why is it not getting done? And then you match that with what is a very just matter-of-fact confidence level. And I know more than we're saying, okay? I mean, I can't say everything I can't give you names and stuff. That's not how it works. But there's a confidence there that they're going to get their man. I mean, some people there are saying they've already got their man. I think that's too strong. I don't think it's done. I don't think it's done at all. And there's still one massive piece of information or one massive puzzle piece that would have to fall into place for this to happen the way that Florida wants it to happen. And I remain completely unconvinced that puzzle piece will fall into place. But the people that are out there going, oh, there's nothing to this. This is complete fabrication. You're out of your mind. I don't know if that answers your question, but we were talking about this on a message board this morning pretty early, and literally no one has contacted either of us to say, you guys have this wrong. You're way off on this. And in this kind of thing, and we haven't reported, we just kind of said, hey, here's what we're hearing, putting a few things together. If we had missed completely on that, we would have heard it.
I appreciate you answering that. I've got one more question. I'll hang up and listen, but I do want to add, you're the best in the biz and appreciate everything that you do. I am curious if you have started prepping some sort of hot board just in case. And I'll hang up and listen, but thank you.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Caller, I'm going to get to you in 1 second. I want to answer his question. I'll be perfectly honest. Chase and I have talked about a hot board. No, we have not put a hot board together. 3 years ago, we had a hot board completely done. It was completely ready. I had we had 4 or 5 content items that were completely prepared the week of Thanksgiving when the Auburn thing was going on. We are not anywhere close to that far down the road right now, and I think both of us are sort of waiting to see what Saturday night looks like post game, what gets said, what happens first part of next week. But yeah, I mean, have we discussed one? Absolutely. Hey, caller, go ahead.
Hey guys, David from Madison.
Hey, David.
Neal, you guys, you and Chase have talked a lot about just how you could not have a more supportive chancellor and AD and the Grove Collective and all of that. I know you don't like percentages questions, but this isn't about a percentage whether Lane stays or not. Given the success strictly of Ole Miss football, not basketball, we know that's about to take off, but since Kiffin got there, what percentage do you think is Boyce and Carter, the Grove Collective, and Kiffin to the success of the program?
I don't know how you metric that out, honestly. I mean, Lane's done a phenomenal job at Ole Miss. There's no question about that. They have, I mean, I can't sit here and compare it to everyone else in the league because I don't know the details of everybody else in the league. I mean, I just don't. But they have, there's no one in the league that has more administrative synergy than Ole Miss does. There might be someone that has as much, probably Georgia, frankly, maybe Alabama, certainly. But in terms of everyone being kind of on the same page, pulling in the same direction, putting their egos aside, you can't do it any better than Ole Miss is doing it right now. And again, I mean, in a world where he leaves, anybody who blames Keith Carter or Glenn Boyce, they're wrong. I mean, people in a world where that happens, people are going to get emotional and they're going to lash out at message board, at us, at other people. Any animus directed towards Keith Carter or Glenn Boyce is completely misplaced. And listen, I say that as someone, unlike Chase, I don't know Glenn Boyce. He and I have never met one another. I don't know him. So I'm not saying this from some position of like, let me kiss his tail because he's my buddy. That's not it at all. I mean, I respect him, but I've never met him. We've literally never had a conversation. I don't know if he knows who I am. I know Keith, and we get along, and have a very pleasant, respectful relationship with one another. But I mean, I don't know him as well as like Chase does, for example. So me saying that, I mean, I'm not saying I should have credibility for saying it. I'm just saying the people that would say, "Oh, well, you say that because those are your people," and what? But no, I mean, I like Keith a lot, and but I don't know Boyce at all. It's just my observation from covering that program and covering the athletic program is that those guys they've done literally all they could possibly do to keep him, and they'll continue to up until whether this is this year or whether this comes down another year or whatever. They're going to continue to do that until the point comes where you can't. But the one thing I've seen people say, you just have to get it done. It doesn't work like that. I mean, it doesn't. Life doesn't work like that. You use the dating analogy. You can go after the girl as hard as you want to. At some point, she has to say yes or not, right? She has to say, yeah, I'll go out with you. If she says, no, I'm not doing it, at some point you have to acknowledge that you're not getting the date, if you will. And so, I mean, Ole Miss has been trying to extend Lane for a long time, weeks now, and it hasn't gotten done because they can't make him do it. I guess they could, but it would probably be a crime. So, I mean, that's where it is. But they're doing everything they can, and then obviously Walker Jones and the Grove Collective and those people have they've done yeoman's work since the founding of that. They've been way ahead of the curve, and in terms of rev share and all of the things that are part of the modern landscape of college football. All three of those people and Denson Hollis with the foundation, all four of those people have kind of done, and their staffs have really done all that you can possibly do to make him feel happy and to make him feel like he can have success. And and then obviously Lane's done a tremendous job with building a program from where it was when he got here in December of 19.
Well, I guess I'm trying to talk myself into, if he leaves, just how attractive the job would be. And I feel like if he were to leave, this is like the worst year to have an SEC coach leave with as many vacancies as there are, and there still could be more.
No, it's attractive. It's a real attractive job because all those things that we just said remain in place, other than, obviously in a world where Lane left, right? You'd have, everything else is in place. You have a strong collective. You have a very pro athletics chancellor who understands the importance and the role that it plays. And then you have an athletics director who is very competitive, who fights for the program and understands it and has gone out and has made, a number of big time hires and has done a lot of things from an investment standpoint. They're not shutting the program down if Lane decides to leave, whether it's this year or any time else. You keep going, but it's far more attractive than it was in 2019. I think it's a good bit, maybe far more attractive than it was in 2022. And in terms of timing and stuff, I don't know, man. I don't know that there's ever an ideal time. And in this world, here's the only thing you got to be aware of in this world is just the calendar. The December 3rd signing period, which whatever. I mean, you just would hammer the portal that first year. But the portal opens on January 2nd. It closes January 16th, I think. And, there's no April portal. So the emphasis on having to get it done pretty quick in terms of putting a team together for year one, you're under fire from the first minute. I mean, that applies to, Auburn, LSU, Arkansas. I mean, the SEC teams that have openings right now. I mean, all of those, they're all working to line things up to go as fast as they can once the season's over.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. If there was some type of backroom verbal deal, there's no way that wouldn't get out. And then you're just risking, if he were to say that January 1st, he goes, you know what? I got it made here. Sorry, guys. I mean, they would be, whoever that is, they would be completely screwed.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. Like, the risk is, and look, I love Lane Kiffin, but he has been known to get up and leave in the middle of the night. And so I don't know. I'm just trying to talk myself into the fact that if he were to leave at the end of the year, how attractive the job would be.
Yeah, I mean, I think the job's attractive. We might be about to find out, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's no secret that, Ole Miss has turnkey on retainer. That's a search firm, and I'm sure they've at least started the process back in the weeks ago when this first popped up about, hey, we would need to be prepared. And then you have there's no industry that talks more amongst themselves than coaches. So, I mean, I'm sure there's some coaches who've put out some feelers about, hey, if he leaves, what does that look like? The awkwardness with Ole Miss as opposed to Auburn, as opposed to LSU, as opposed to Arkansas, and frankly, Florida, the awkwardness for Ole Miss is that in a world where that happened, it's realistic that you're preparing for a playoff game. And that's where this thing gets really weird and potentially ugly and potentially just awkward as hell, right? And I mean,
but do you not think that would just completely kill his reputation and all the goodwill he's built up, not with Ole Miss, but just in general?
It's what
the guy. If you leave during the playoffs, you will leave for anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said earlier in the week. It was the reason why, in a lot of ways, I had some people telling me. I mean, I'm full disclosure here. I've had some people tell me that I was being naive because I've dismissed this a little bit over the last few weeks. With, man, if he makes the playoffs, he's going to walk away from a playoff team. Like, I
wouldn't hire somebody that did that.
And so, and in fairness, now he hasn't done it. And there's people out there that are turning this into Lane Kiffin has walked away. He's not. Lane Kiffin's dialed into a game on Saturday night that I think Ole Miss is going to beat the brakes off of Florida.
I do too.
But obviously, if you were listening on Monday, there were red flags. No question. Everybody heard them. People heard them and went, huh. And then he admitted he wasn't far down the road, and he kind of came across as torn, and then stuff has started to pop in the world that we live in. I mean, you've seen it with other reporters. Chris Lowe, who's very tight with that group, has kind of talked about how it's a real possibility, and I mean, at a minimum, it's very clearly a real possibility. It's clearly something he's thinking about. At an absolute minimum, it's something he's going to entertain. And here's the thing: no one's going to wait for Ole Miss to finish the playoffs, whether that's December 19th or whether that's January the 19th or one of the dates in between. Nobody is going to wait for that to get things done. Not with this calendar. Not going to happen. So this thing is, I'm starting to agree with Tyler Siskey, who said on Monday on our show, McCready and Siskey, that 7 to 10 days, this thing was going to start. All of these things were going to start fleshing out. I'm starting to think he's probably right.
Who do you think we should not listen to, but kind of read between the tea leaves on when it comes to him with this?
I mean,
Chris Lowe?
Chris obviously is one, and look, he's going to get asked probably some really direct questions on Saturday night, no matter what. I mean, this is going to be talked about on Saturday morning, I suspect, on the pregame shows and whatnot, and then it's going to probably get talked about on the broadcast, and then, I mean, if the game's a blowout, that broadcasting crew is probably going to talk about this. It just is what it is. And people will say that's unprofessional, whatever. They've got 3.5 hours to fill. If the game's a blowout, it's probably coming up. And it's going to come up in the post game.
I mean, I have the feeling this game has the potential to be the equivalent of when LSU was kneeling on us at the end of the fourth quarter during Nuts game. Like, I think this could just be an absolute historic SEC beatdown.
I tend to agree.
They have nothing to play for.
No, they have nothing to play for, and if it gets out of hand quickly from a scoreboard standpoint, they'll roll over. They rolled over in Lexington. There's no other way around it. And I've heard people say, "Well, Kentucky played really well." I mean, come on, really?
Yeah.
I mean, Kentucky.
I mean,
come on. They rolled over.
I think we could be looking at a 45-7 situation.
Yeah, I think so. And so I'm just telling you, if that happens and you're watching the broadcast and it comes up, it is what it is.
Well, luckily I'm going to be racing a mountain bike through the woods in the middle of the night during the game.
How about that?
I'll listen to it. I'm the kind of person, like, if Ole Miss plays a close game, which seems to be the last 49 years of my life, I have to have something to do. I'll get up and clean the house, and I happen to have registered for this mountain bike race. So I'll be listening to it, but I'll also be using up all that adrenaline and anxiety. Just hope I don't run into a tree or something if something goes crazy.
Yeah, well, be careful. Good luck to you.
I will. And I hope you guys if I don't talk to you before then, I hope you have a good Thanksgiving. And as always, the content is amazing. And my wife is a Alabama graduate, but graduated from law school at Ole Miss, and she now does not miss a single podcast or the McCready and Siskey podcast. So you can add one to the 4%.
Well, thank you very much. Good luck with your race.
Thanks, Dale.
All right, bye-bye. Hey, caller, you're on. Hey, you're on.
Hey, Neal, it's Austin.
Hey, Austin, what's up, man?
Oh, man, not much. I won't keep you. I just wanted to ask something quick, just kind of a follow-up to that. This isn't one of those Lincoln Riley situations where everybody swore up and down he was going to LSU, and then at the 11th hour he goes to USC, right? Like, if there's anybody in play here, it's Florida, and we're not missing the fact that it's somebody else.
I don't think so. I did some work early in the week, like checking on that, because I was like, this is kind of weird, and I was asking around about LSU a little bit. And LSU, I think one of the reasons this thing is like people are doing this is because I think LSU was – I think LSU was able to sort of put an offer out there, which tells me that Florida probably did too, if I'm reading that correctly. That's me guessing. I'm not reporting. I don't know that. But I heard specificity on LSU and I heard specificity on Florida today, and it sort of made sense. And no, I don't. I think this is Florida or Ole Miss for sure. I don't think that's the case. And listen, Lincoln Riley was going to LSU, and then he kind of played two against each other and ended up at SC, and now I'm told believes he made a mistake. So,
I know you're not the greatest for the fan type questions, but I do just kind of want to get your take on this real quick. Like, what would you have to say, or what advice would you give to the Ole Miss fans who feel kind of disenfranchised right now? Because I'm just gonna very, very briefly touch on this on a personal note. Like, I'm a graduate. I've been going to football, basketball, and baseball games in Oxford since I was 3 or 4 years old. I'm 28, and my old man is 56, and I've got a fiance who's into it now just as much as I am, and it's just kind of really disheartening and demoralizing that this is the season that everybody, especially that I know, has been waiting for our whole lives, and I'll be honest, on a personal note, it feels like we can't even really enjoy it, like, because every time, I'm just speaking on me and a lot of my friends, every time we turn on the television, it's, oh, Alabama's having a great season, they'll make the playoffs. Oh, Georgia's having a great season, they'll make the playoffs. Hey, Ole Miss, they're having a great season. You know the coach is leaving, right? I mean, that's been the sentiment. Like, it feels, and a lot of us feel disenfranchised because, frankly, we've given the guy everything he's asked for, and nothing's definitive. I'm not saying this like he's leaving, but in the world that he leaves, it's really demoralizing. So, what would you say to those fans who feel kind of put out right now?
Yeah, I would say that two coaches in a row have won there. I mean, I don't count Matt. Not an insult towards Matt. He just had no chance because of all the NCAA stuff and the way that went down. But Hugh Freeze, who I don't think is a great coach, won big at Ole Miss, couldn't win at Auburn. Lane Kiffin, who had, had a 1 year at Tennessee and had gotten fired on the tarmac at USC, won at FAU, and he's won big at Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss is 2 wins this season away from 50 wins in 5 years. I mean, only Alabama and Georgia have done better in those 5 years. And frankly, the modern era is these 5 years. So,
Right.
I don't know. I mean, in a world where he left, I think I have a very different opinion on this than other people, and it's not popular. It's, you say thanks for all that you did, and you move to the next person. You move to the next person, and you keep going with what you've had. You know how to do it. It's been done. You've done it. I mean, look, you're 2 wins, maybe just 1 win, but certainly 2 wins over one team that's a 14-point underdog, and the other team will probably be a 8.5, 9-point underdog. You're 2 wins away from going 11-1 and being the 5 seed or the 6 seed in the national playoff, maybe higher than that. When people say you can't win at Ole Miss, you just did. I mean, it'd be like me telling the Thunder that you can't be a competitive team in Oklahoma City. They are. You're right there. That's not my response. Would just be literally look in the mirror. You're in it. You can do it again. In this era of college football, I think almost anybody can end up being really competitive. Look at the landscape: Indiana, Vanderbilt. I mean, I probably shouldn't have to say anything else. I mean, that would be my answer is you can absolutely be as competitive as you want to be. You've been super competitive. There's no reason to think that your program is only as big as one person. That is just, frankly, it's illogical. I mean, Alabama's lost Nick Saban. He's the best coach in the history of the game, and they're on the cusp of being back in the playoff with the bye, playing for the SEC title, a legitimate national title contender with the Heisman favorite at quarterback. I mean, I guess that's what I'd say. And that's not a knock at Lane. I think Lane's terrific. I think Lane's done a phenomenal job. But, I mean, your program's not one person. I mean, if Kirby Smart announced today that he's retiring, Georgia football doesn't go away. That's what I'd say.
Well, Neal, I love you, but man, scale 1 to 10, how crazy do you think your work life is going to be for like the next 3 or 4 weeks?
Ask me Saturday at about 11 o'clock. I'll tell you. I don't know.
Noted. I'm gonna let you get to other calls. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Hey, caller, go ahead. Hey, caller, you're on.
Hey, this is Tom up from Maryland.
What's up, Tom? Hey, listen. Hey, talk to me on your device, not your computer.
Yeah, sorry. Is this better?
Yep, much better.
Hey, sorry. Hey, this is Tom up in Maryland. I just wanted to ask, and maybe this is kind of copium on my part, or at least trying to, but is there a chance that some of this is sort of like, from a regular guy's job interview? If somebody really, really wants you, they hear you're doing a good job, all that kind of stuff. They say, what would it take for you to come work for me? You say, I'm making $60,000 a year, feel like I'm doing okay. If you do something silly like give me $100,000, I'll leave my job for you. And then, he's focused in, he's dialing.
That's not what this is.
Trying to win these.
I'll save you I'll save you the trouble. No, it's nothing like that. He's so
it's not even like a
no. He's not interviewing for a job. He's getting job offers. They're putting together. Yeah. They're putting together. They're not asking him what does it take. I mean, and if they are, it's not about salary. It's about NIL package. It's about all the auxiliary things that you need, the ancillary things that he feels like he needs. And look, if he leaves, he's leaving for one reason. He's leaving because he believes. Yep. He believes. It doesn't mean it's right. It's because he believes that he has a better chance to compete for championships on an annual basis somewhere else than he does here. That's it. It's not about money. All the people that are like, well, Ole Miss is almost going to match. It's not about that. He's going to be the highest paid coach he's going to be the highest paid coach in the country for at least an hour at some point. Like whether it's at Ole Miss or Florida or wherever, right? Yeah, they're going to give him the money. It's not that. This is just about winning.
Yeah, I totally understand. I agree with you. I just want to make sure my point wasn't really even about. I just use that as like a comparison to a normal person. I know it's about everything else besides salary, really.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying. My hope was that maybe this was Florida saying, "Here's all the things you said you require to build a championship." And they took a few weeks. They put all their stuff together while he was focused on games. They said, okay, we've got it. Here it is. Here's what you said you needed. Here's what you asked for.
Yep.
And here's our proof that we can do it.
Yep.
And now, is there an opportunity for the regular guy in Lane to come back to his employer now that he will have a week to say, look, these guys, they asked, I gave outrageous demands. They accepted outrageous demands.
I mean,
here it is. Can you do something better than
that? He's going to get all that wherever he goes. It's going to be. This is going to be just about what he wants, what he views, what he wants. I think he's basically my age, is a little younger than me, not much. He grew up in an era when that job was a big job. It was everything. Florida was a big brand, man. And you know, I mean, he married the daughter of a legendary Florida quarterback, and I mean, he's basically admitted that, there was a time that he really romanticized about that job. And I mean, I think he's having to weigh all of those things. And yeah, look, I mean, I do think that, Florida, I'm trying to be careful here. I do think Florida asked, what do you think it takes to win? No, were these direct conversations? I doubt it. Was this through agencies and such? Probably. What does it take to what does it take to win? And there were answers, and I do think Florida has met those demands. But here's the thing: Ole Miss probably has too. Like, in terms of what do you need, we'll make it happen. We'll show you that we're actionable in making it happen. At the end of the day, you got to pick.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Lane may be a little bit younger, but I still think you're better looking. Okay. I appreciate you taking the time.
That is not the case, but thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, go ahead, caller. You're on. Hey, you're on.
Hey, this is my Marine Rebel from the board over here in Middle Georgia.
Yes, sir.
I was just curious, is there a world where he hasn't officially accepted the Florida job?
Yeah.
But Ole Miss lets him coach the playoff when it's out there and everybody knows that he's going?
No.
And I understand you say no, but how would that work? Like, would they fire him, or would they suspend him with pay, or how? I'm just curious how that would work.
I don't know how all of that works, but no, I can just tell you that's not going to happen. I mean,
yeah, I didn't think so, because
no,
it's like you said on McCready and Fitzky the other day, Ole Miss ain't gonna be anybody's bitch in this deal either.
No, and they can't. Look, I think I have to believe that he knows that, right? I mean, you know, that's one of the reasons to me. I hate to say it's Ole Miss's only chance. That's too strong. I think it's the one. I've learned I have to really parse words on this part.
Yeah, take your time. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not trying to push for one answer one way or the other.
No,
I'm
just
I know. Wondering.
I think at the end of the day, it's the one thing I still keep coming back to that lends me pause and going, hey, I think this is way down the road, or I think this is what's going to happen, or whatever. Is if he doesn't know it now, he's certainly going to know it at some point next week. That, hey, if you're taking the Florida job, you can't coach the playoffs here. It's not an option. They're not going to do that. And because here's the thing, right? Hang on a second. Just hear me out. This is what that would look like. We always do this in the spring when we're like, hey, let's pull out a team. Let's take Tennessee. Let's do W's and L's. And we're like, okay, W, L, W, W, L. And, oh, what would that mean? What would that mean for Heupel? And you're like, I don't really know. And then it happens in the regular season, and all the emotion kicks in, and people are getting fired, right? So here's what this would look like. Let's play this out. Let's play it out. Ole Miss beats Florida by the point spread. So they beat them by 14 points, 31-17. Ole Miss wins, 10-1. No one does anything. They get to the Mississippi State game the day after Thanksgiving. Ole Miss is an 8-point favorite. Let's say they win by 8, 32 to 22. 30-22. Ole Miss wins 30-22. Good game. Rebels are 11-1. Let's just let everything play out by chalk. They don't make the SEC championship game. They're the 5 or the 6 seed. So they get scheduled to play a game December the 20th. Okay? All right. That means that the last regular season game for Ole Miss would be November the 8th? 27th, 28th. You would think I would know by now. Okay, so they don't play again until December the 20th. So we got 3+ weeks before they play a game. And now, in the interim, here's what this would look like. In the interim, Auburn hires a coach, whoever you want them to hire. Excuse me, they hire somebody. LSU hires a coach. Arkansas hires a coach. Penn State hires a coach. Eli Drinkwitz either leaves and Missouri hires a coach, or Eli Drinkwitz signs some extension at Mizzou. All that stuff happens.
And the only one left out there waiting is Florida.
Yeah, all that stuff happens in like a 1-week period, right? I mean, because Auburn, LSU, Auburn, Arkansas, Penn State, Virginia Tech, all these schools, they're way down the road with candidates, all of them. And so they're all going to finish. They're all going to introduce their coach, and, somebody's going to, sing War Eagle, and someone's going to call the Hogs and all that stuff. And Florida's just going to be sitting back there with just kind of twiddling its thumbs. And people are going to look around and go, so what's Florida doing? And there's no names. You're going to know what it is. And at that point, you think the Cole Kubelik, Rogers, Hart, or whoever it was on that broadcast that night in Fayetteville, you think that was a bad broadcast? That's just going to be 20 times worse. That was Mr. Rogers' neighborhood compared to what would happen in a game in Oxford when everyone in the world knows that Lane Kiffin is the Florida coach, and they just haven't announced it yet. And Florida's sitting over there with a
especially if you're playing a Georgia Tech and you're favored by 17 points, and you're almost assured to go play on January the 2nd. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me on like
Hey, hang tight real quick.
able.
A little breaking news, by the way. Ole Miss has reached an agreement with Aflac. There will be an on-field sponsor, at least for Saturday's game. It's potentially permanent. This is per Chase Parham. He's reporting this at Rebels 24/7. It's up on the message board if you want to read more. Chase has made the post. But certainly for Saturday.
Now, that's interesting that came out today, because earlier in the day, Florida just announced a sponsorship with Geico on the field.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting.
Just Chase's words, could be permanent, but for sure Saturday. So that's where that is. So anyway, I interrupted you. I just wanted to go ahead.
No, I was saying, if you like December the 20th game against Georgia Tech, that you're favored by, what would it be, 14, 17 points, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you're almost assured to play on January the 1st.
Yeah.
And Florida's still sitting out there.
At
some point, people are going to be like, this is getting stupid now.
No, it's untenable. It doesn't work.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering when Carter would put that ultimatum in front of him and be like, hey, you're either going to sign with us or you're not coaching the playoff. Would that be like before the state game, a week after the state game? What?
I would. My guess is before the state game. That's just a guess, but at a minimum, it would be immediately after the state game.
Yeah, and if it was before the state game, would he be allowed to coach that game?
I don't know.
Because I know you can't fire him without paying the buyout, but could you suspend him with cause or something like that?
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I didn't, because I'm an aircraft mechanic, man. I don't know how any of this works. I'm just wondering if you did.
Well, I mean, this is pretty uncharted territory, really. If this comes to pass, right? It's pretty uncharted.
Yeah. Okay.
Territory. So we'll see.
All right.
As of this moment, I feel like I have to say this a few times. As of this moment, he hasn't done anything. I don't.
Yeah, I
couldn't. There are people out there who are saying it's a done deal. I think that's too strong. I could be wrong. I think that's too strong. But at some point, look, both Florida and Ole Miss are going to ask for a firm answer, and that answer's probably got to come soon.
Yeah. Well, it's the reason I jumped from Rivals over to 247, because I really enjoy y'all's honesty and things like this, and your honesty in game takes and how good or bad the team is. That's why I came up. That's why I followed you guys to 247. So I appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you very much.
All right, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
You too. The phones have gone a little silly. I apologize for all the sound. It's the system that I've got. At some point, we will maybe look into upgrading a system, but we haven't done it yet. Hey, who do we have? Hey, you're on.
Hello?
Hey, you're on. Who's this?
Hey, Neal. It's Vibin.
Hey, Vibin. What's up, man?
Not much, man. What's up with you?
Just a Thursday, man. Just hanging out on Thursday night by myself in the Clark Ford studio talking to you guys. That's what's up.
I was about to say, Chase bailed on you, and what, you couldn't get our boy Siski to step in? Did his lazy ass just call it a day after McCready and Siski?
I think Siski had dinner plans with his wife Erin, and Chase is Chase being Mr. Ole Miss, being the king of Oxford. He is emceeing the Ole Miss Hall of Fame induction ceremonies this evening. I think the cocktail hour started it starts at 6. Then they have dinner, and then they have he's going to MC some speeches and things of that nature. Meanwhile, I'm just here.
I'm sure there's not going to be any awkward conversations had during that dinner.
Oh
tonight.
no,
it'll
be totally calm. It'll be a place of just peace. He'll be right in his element. Probably prompt. He can push his book a little bit. And I'm in here just
gonna push Aflac.
Yeah, he'll be talking about some Aflac. Yep.
Just told my mom to leave Geico. It's been such a just chill, normal week. I kind of want to hear some inside baseball. How much have you had to be on your phone the last 2 days?
A lot, too much. And by the way, what you guys are hearing is not my phone. That's this iPad system. It's a Google system that we use to take calls. So you're not. I can't mute my phone. Actually, is muted. You're not hearing my phone. You're hearing y'all's calls.
I'm sure it's been ringing quite a bit tonight. Huh?
Yeah. I mean, I've been on the phone a lot. I've been really on the phone a lot for the last month. Honestly.
That far back.
Yeah, since the Georgia game.
Oh, well, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
wasn't it a couple of days after that I don't know if Napier got fired that day or.
Yeah, I don't remember precisely, but this has been percolating for months. It's not a new thing. I mean, we've been working this for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been talking to people about this very topic for a month and a half. I mean,
you've been locked on.
No, I don't go there. I don't go there. No.
Okay.
My friend
Ryland
Styles does Locked on Thunder. He covers the OKC Thunder. I will listen to Ryland, but that is the extent of my Locked On.
I mean, hey, to their credit, they got Matt.
They did.
They got Matt down there at LSU.
They have some good. They have some good people. They do. Some.
They do. That's what, dude. It's one of those deals. I'm making a conscious decision after the past day or two to just try to peruse the board and not get on it as much because Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, the board's different. It's a different dynamic. It's two things. One, we have a lot of people that are new to us, and two, we are significantly bigger from a subscriber standpoint than we were at Rivals. We're very, very, very close to a milestone that I don't think Chase and I ever thought was possible. I can remember.
Oh, mazel tov.
Yeah, thank you. So I mean, it's just different. I mean, we're all still figuring out what that looks like and stuff. And I mean, you know this, Vibin, because you've been with us a long time. We're just trying to cover it as best we can. I mean, people say, "What are you're wanting this to happen?" No, I don't want to deal with the coaching search. I don't want to deal with an awkward December. I'd much rather I'd love to cover a playoff like a normal program, right? And maybe it happens. I mean, I just think we're going to find out soon. I don't think this thing has. I mean, the state game is 2 weeks from tomorrow. I don't think it has 2 weeks of fuel left in it. I think it goes one way or the other in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I've said this pretty consistently since Monday morning, and I think Tyler actually kind of said the same thing. I think, and look, when I say this, I don't mean it's going to be announced officially, but I think either one of the national guys or you guys are breaking something in the next 7 days, maybe 10.
Yeah, I think so. That's my guess too. I think one way or the other it gets resolved in the next. Tyler said that on Monday. I think he's right. On Monday when he said it, I thought, I thought that was a little early. I thought he had his timeline off a little, but I'm starting to think he's probably right.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Lane's gonna get asked about this on Saturday night. The game's gonna be over. He's not gonna have another game for 13 days. Okay, he's going to get asked about this on Saturday night, and the answers are going to, even if the answers say nothing, the answers are going to be telling.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you go back to 2022 and you go watch the Ole Miss Arkansas post game in Fayetteville, Lane's answers were those of a guy who was on his way out. 5 nights later, when he coached the game against Mississippi State, even though they lost. And the very first question, I had the mic, and I asked the very first question, do you anticipate being the head coach at Ole Miss next season? And he said yes. And that was when you knew it was over. And so he's going to get an opportunity to answer a very similar question on Saturday, and his answer will be telling. It might not be indicative of everything, but it will be telling.
Yeah, and that's what I had to tell one of my buddies, because he hadn't been on a message board a lot this week earlier. I was like, okay, here's what I think just the sentiment is right now. People are reading that or hearing Florida is super confident that they've got him, but that does not mean he's made a decision.
No, I agree. The only thing I will say is that the people there who are so confident are people who would be involved in the process.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand that.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, let's keep this real. If he decides to stay, good God, that fan base.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not just the fan base, but the university. Oof.
The whole thing. Yeah, no, God have mercy on the souls of people who cover Florida if this doesn't go down for them. I mean, oof, I can't even imagine. But we'll see. I mean, I think resolution's going to. I think it has to get resolved fairly quickly. I really do. I mean,
yeah.
Next week's a really long week if he's super awkward on Saturday night and it just starts getting weird. And I mean, and if he loses the game on Saturday night, my God, I mean, I can't. Oof. I don't think he will. But,
I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah.
I do have one more point. I don't know if you've got a minute because
Sure.
I was talking to my dad about this not too long ago.
I didn't I didn't get invited to the Hall of Fame thing, so I've got time. I don't have a tux or anything today. I'm just chilling. Go ahead.
Don't worry, man. I'm not gonna lie. If you're the first one to break the story that Kippen is staying, then they might actually build a statue of both you and him holding hands.
Lane's not a big personal touch guy. We'd have to have some distance.
Yeah, he doesn't strike me as someone who is a big hand holder.
No, I don't think so. Someone's. I could. At some point, I'll tell a funny story about that, but not today.
Yeah, so I was talking to my dad recently, and to you and Chase's credit, y'all have brought this up quite a few times. The whole deal with Wayne and his decision is he wants to win a national title at least once, right?
Yeah, he wants to. Yes. I think what he wants is to be at a place where he is in the national race all the time. And look, this is where I disagree with him, okay? He had a national championship caliber roster a year ago, and they lost two inexcusable.
Well, this is where I was going with this.
They lost two inexcusable games. This year they've done a phenomenal job so far. They haven't finished it, but they've done a phenomenal job so far. And the whole, you didn't, we're 2 or 3 players short. Look, I think it's a fair criticism to say, well, I mean, if you had maybe signed a couple of those players and developed them, maybe they'd be in those spots. I don't know if that's completely fair or not. I don't think he loves recruiting. Now, in fairness, most coaches don't. But when you lean heavily on the portal the way that they have, you're going to have some misses in the portal, and it's other teams are going to be heavily involved in the portal too, and so you're not going to just outbid everyone everywhere in the portal. And so that, to me, that line of thinking, I understand it. I don't know that it really holds up under scrutiny, because look,
I agree. I think there's going to be ebbs and flows every year.
He had a championship caliber team last year, and this year they are 2 wins over inferior teams away from being the 5th or 6th seed at a minimum in a 12-team national tournament. That's really a 10-team national tournament, because the ACC champ and the Group of 5 champ have no chance to win it. So you're one of 10 teams in a tournament with a chance to win the national championship. The whole you can't win here sort of falls apart there. But at the end of the day, but here's the thing. And I'm going to say this again. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you think, and it doesn't matter what I think. And that doesn't mean that you and I don't have an opinion, but our opinion doesn't matter. The only opinion that really matters is his.
Yeah, I mean, and to the point you were making, I've said this to multiple people. I'm like, he can think that he just might not be able to do it consistently here. But, Neal, if they started the 12-team playoff in 2021, Ole Miss would be on the cusp of going to it 3 times.
Yeah.
And the 2 times they didn't, quite frankly, the 2022 team collapsed because he made a bad DC hire. They missed out some kids in the portal, and then the Auburn thing happened.
Yeah.
And then,
Yep.
They made crucial mistakes evaluating talent on offense last year in the portal.
Yep.
It wasn't Ole Miss's fault.
No,
over that.
no,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Would it be easier?
I love Kiffin, but I think that's a fair criticism.
Sure. No, I mean, look, I think his tenure's been an overwhelming success, but there are some flies in the ointment that you can point out. No question. I mean, they lost at home to Kentucky last year. They lost to Florida. The game at LSU was a game they probably should have won. The fact that they played Georgia in Oxford and destroyed them the way that they did was indicative of how good that team probably should have been over the course of the whole season. But the flip side.
I was like, where the hell has this been?
Yeah, the flip side is that look, they did some really strong self-analysis in the spring, and had they not brought in Trinidad Chambliss, had they not brought in Kapina Gushkin, had they not brought in some of those kinds of players, this season would not be where it is today. So those things balance out.
They do. But all right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the call.
Thank
Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye. Hey, caller, you're on. Who's this? Hey, caller, you're on.
Neal, it's Lee from Florida. How you doing?
What's up, Lee? How are you?
Good. Thank you for all the work you're doing. Chase as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm completely confident in Boyce, Carter, and Walker Jones. It is not one man on the earth that can do this for Ole Miss. I honestly believe they'll find another great coach if that is the case. And I've been trying to get in, so I have not heard the last 10 to 15 minutes. But what are your thoughts on if it were to come out in the next 5 to 7 days that he is in fact going to Florida? How does that work with the playoff? And if you've already discussed that, I apologize.
Yeah, we kind of just did. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how exactly it plays out. I think if that comes out where it's known, I don't know exactly how the mechanics of it work, but I don't think he would be coaching at Ole Miss in the playoff if that came out.
Good. I mean, I feel like that's right. And
yeah, they can't do that. They can't.
Has there been another
in that world? They can't do that. I mean, look. It's one thing if you're. The example I used with someone today was let's say Alex Golish at South Florida, and don't even ask me if South Florida can make it. I have no idea. But let's just, for kicks and giggles, okay, play this out with me. Alex Golish is the coach of South Florida. South Florida gets the Group of 5 bid into the playoff as the 12th seed. Alex Golish, let's say hypothetically, agrees to become the head coach at either Arkansas or Virginia Tech, okay? Both of those South Florida would be more than happy to let Alex Golish coach their team in the playoff because they would use that as a recruiting tool for the next people going, see, if you come here and win big, you land the big money Power 4 gig. And obviously, in this world, Virginia Tech or Arkansas would be more than happy to let him coach because the product that he took South Florida to the playoffs. Imagine what he'd do in Blacksburg or what he'd do in Fayetteville. I mean, that's one thing. That's one thing. You're in the SEC. You're at a program in that world where you made the playoffs. You would have 50 wins in 5 years. You're not taking a back seat. I made a really crass analogy the other day. I shouldn't have, but you're not taking a back seat to Florida so that it wouldn't happen. It would be untenable. And in this world where every player can get in the portal on January 2nd, you would be allowing a coach of a rival program to basically be recruiting your players for 3 weeks as they prepared for a bowl game. And for a game, and if they won that game, another 10 days for another game. And no, it doesn't. That's why when people are like, man, how long is this thing going to drag out? I'm like, I don't think it's going to drag out much longer at all.
Yeah, and I know you've said, and I fully agree, we can make all of the reasoning we want on why he shouldn't leave. You're in the playoff this year. Like, what more do you want? I mean,
I don't know.
For being truthful, I know he's a great coach. I mean, for being truthful, he significantly underachieved last year. He's overachieving this year. It's about a push. Love the guy. He's our guy. But if he's not our guy and he leaves for Florida, which is, it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what he thinks.
Yep.
But the perception nationally, I just can't help but think, I mean,
I'm with you.
Everything he's built is just taken away. Like, in 100% the aspect of recruiting in the future, well, if the NFL calls, if you're looking to go to Florida, just hope the NFL doesn't call, because that Tampa Bay job is one he's always wanted. I mean, it just doesn't make sense at all. But it doesn't matter. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, the only sense that you could try to make of it, and again, I think we're kind of probably getting a little ahead of ourselves right now, my opinion.
Good.
I think we did what we did this morning because there had been this sentiment all week, and there's a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, there are some media outlets who have just been like, oh, it's not going to happen, period. And I always have said, hey, look, we don't need to get caught like that. Like, if people are mad at us today to some degree, but in a world where this story pops at the end of next week and we've been saying nothing other than, oh, it's silly, he's staying, it's done, we would never have credibility again. It's like,
you guys do phenomenal work.
And so if that's what we're hearing, and it is definitely what we're hearing, I mean, I think we have to figure out a way to at least say, hey guys, this is a possibility. This is a thing that's out there, and it's definitely out there. I mean, definitely. The people that are like the one that I've laughed at the most today is, you guys have made this up. I'm like, so two guys who cover Ole Miss for 24/7 Sports have made up a story that becomes national, that everybody else comes to, and nobody. Come on, that's insane. That's ludicrous. I mean, it's you heard him talk about it on Monday. It's very clear that he knows he has a decision to make. And, I mean, I think what changed, if anything, is that the power people at Florida believe that decision's been made. Has it? I don't know. I don't know that. I think he's going to get asked that on Saturday, and his answers are going to be telling.
Right. One last question. I was refreshing the message board, probably like everyone else. I'm on the drive up from Florida to Oxford now, so not much else to do. But I did notice Chase posted the Aflac on-field logo. It's coincidence? Was that bigger? Because I kind of thought that was not going to happen to the extent maybe.
They've been working on it. I don't know. That's Chase's story. He's worked on that. They've been working with Aflac for a while now, so I don't know whether today getting to the potential finish line was tied to Florida and Geico, or tied to Florida's pursuit of Kiffin, or any of that. And to
Couldn't hurt.
No, it didn't. It doesn't hurt. No, absolutely not. It's probably not a complete coincidence, but it's probably not completely tied together either, because it feels like look, this is the last home game. If Aflac wants to try it on for size, this is their last chance to do it until next September. So it would make sense that, hey, let's put it on. Let's wear it one time and see how we like it, right? Or if it's a car, let's take it for a good test drive. This is like one, it kind of feels like it's that. And then if they like it, they'll go. If they get good feedback and they like it, they'll go with it. And if they don't, it's just one game, and I'm sure they've done some other stuff. But so I doubt it's a complete coincidence, but it's probably kind of a coincidence. If that makes sense. If that makes any sense.
For all the work you and yeah, absolutely it does. Thank you for all that you do. I mean, honestly, I don't know other beats. I don't follow any other teams, but the information you guys provide is just, it's phenomenal. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hang on, I'm trying to get to you. Caller, you on? Hey, caller, you're on. Who's this? Hey, caller, you're on.
Hey, Neal, this is Jeff in Georgia.
Hey, Jeff.
I had a quick question. I just got to start listening, so this may have been asked and answered already. So if so, just tell me to shut up. My question is, if you were Keith, would you kind of use this bye week to give Kiffin a little ultimatum? You know, if you don't sign an extension, then we're going to have to figure something out and maybe put an interim in for the state game in the playoff, or do you just let him coach it out and kind of hang us out to dry? What would be your position there? Because you got to have some sort of power at the negotiating table, and I think that's kind of the only power we got.
I mean, if it's me, I got to have an answer. I got to know. And I've got to know, right? I mean, I have to know because, like I was saying earlier, if in a world where you're losing your coach, you're getting into the hiring a new coach market with people that are already way down the road. Auburn's way down the road. Arkansas's way down the road. LSU's going to be down the road. Virginia Tech, Penn State, blah, blah, blah. That's who you're competing with. And so if you have, if you're going to try to, hire someone that is going to be the future of your program, you got to get at it. Is that next week? I don't know. Probably. Makes sense because you have a game Saturday, obviously, and then you don't play a game for 13 days. They're not going to have 13 days of prep for Mississippi State. Nobody does that. You'd be way over prepped. So at some point, it stands to reason that at some point next week, you'd sit down and say, hey, where are we? And then
that would be.
And then you have to act.
One of the more insane.
You have to act on that information. And again, I feel like I'm kind of getting into broken record territory here. He's going to get asked about this on Saturday night, and his answers are going to be telling. Even if they say nothing, the answers will be telling.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think we're kind of, on the same page as far as that goes. I don't know what, I don't know if this has ever been, there's no playbook for this.
No.
Keys is, I guess, going to kind of write it himself, because this would be one of the more interesting deals to go in with a potentially interim coach, for a playoff run. Because then you run the risk of you want to put somebody in the interim that wins. And if it's not the guy, we'll say say we played Memphis first round, then Indiana second round. The guy beats State and then wins 2 in the play. How do you not hire that guy, even if it's not the guy you want to hire?
Yeah,
you put yourself in a terrible spot.
You're way ahead of me on the thought process. That is a good point. I'm not there yet. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves when we go there. I mean, I think where we are today is that you have to acknowledge that this is a very real threat. And that obviously Saturday's a huge football game, and then on the end of that game, the post game is going to be telling. And look, he's put himself in that spot, right? By in some ways by not nipping it, but he didn't nip it because he wasn't ready to nip it. And is that because he wants to hear it, or is that because he wants to go, or is that because he's torn? I don't know the answers to that. And it's obviously something, because, I mean, I don't know the details on this, but if he had wanted to put this to bed a week ago and be one of the highest paid coaches in the country, I don't know if he would have been the exact highest or second or third or whatever, a lot of money. Ole Miss was ready to go there. It would have gotten done. And that's not where we are. And, you look around the country and you see Cignetti and you see Rhett Lashley and you see probably Jeff Brom at Louisville here pretty soon, and I'm probably missing people who've agreed to long-term deals or new deals. And, when that doesn't, every time that happens and it doesn't happen with him, people go, huh? And if you wonder why, they'll combine that with what you hear out of Florida. And then what you don't hear from here, and look, we've talked to people here. We're covering this from multiple bases. There's no one at Ole Miss who's 100% sure that Lane Kiffin's staying. I'll put it that way. Nobody there that matters believes it's 100% that he's staying.
Yeah, tough spot, man. I appreciate you taking my call. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
And I'll hang up and listen.
Okay, thank you. Hey, caller, you're on. Who's this? Hey, caller, you're on.
Hey, Neal, this is John in Hernando.
What's up, John?
In 2022, Kiffin was going to go to Auburn, and it got leaked and put him in a weird spot, and now he's got to make a decision. And, there's a lot of animosity to Sokolov for that. But
yep.
If what you're saying is this is coming from Florida folks, why would Lane have any reason to trust them?
That's fair. I hadn't thought about it like that. Here's the thing, man.
I mean,
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Well,
I wrote this a week or two ago, and I was right. I mean, I get a lot wrong, but I get a few things right. These kinds of things these kinds of secrets never hold. I mean, they just don't. They just don't. They just don't. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if capital I, capital F, underlined, italicized, bolded, if he views Florida as a better job and he wants to be the Florida coach, this is his window to take that job.
I just don't see how you see Florida as a good job if you're in coaching. I mean, they've still got the Rashada lawsuit hanging out, right?
Yeah.
Why would you trust that they got NIL?
This sounds like I'm minimizing your thoughts, or mine, and I'm not. I'm just saying it all that really matters is what he thinks. And I don't know what communication he's had or his agency's had or whatever with that job or what he thinks of that job. I mean, he kind of got asked about jobs the other day. I asked, Michael Katz asked, Sam Hutchins asked, and I thought the answers were interesting. Some people took way more from it than I did, and I walked away going, huh. But there were people who heard that and said he's gone. I was not one of those people, but it was the first time I've ever heard Lane Kiffin talk about the Heisman Trophy. It was the first time. The first time I've ever heard Lane Kiffin talk about stadium size.
Yeah.
I'd never really heard that before. I mean, it was interesting. He talked about proximity to talent. I mean, I thought he almost even got a little emotional talking about OHS, the football team, that his son plays for and all of that stuff. And, it was an interesting press conference, and so, I mean, this is going to be an interesting few days for him. I don't know when the Oxford game is. I don't know if it's tonight or if it's tomorrow night, but Oxford has a playoff game here coming up, and maybe it's next week. I don't know. Now that I don't have a kid in high school, I'm not as familiar with the high school calendar. But there's stuff, that he's going to be around. He's got Reb Talk tonight at Bourré. I doubt it comes up there, but
surely not.
But
David Kellum's not going to be the hard question.
Well, and David's not paid to be the hard question guy. But David's paid to toss the softballs, and so he'll toss the softballs. That's not. Yeah, so. But it's going to look again. I'm broken record at this. It's coming up Saturday night. No matter how that football game plays out, it's coming up Saturday night.
All right, I got one more question, and I'll hang up. Should we come out and look flat, or dear God, if we lose, is it appropriate then to start asking about distractions?
If you lose, yeah, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit, yeah. Pardon my French. Yeah, dear God. Oh, yeah.
You can't.
It's
obviously a distraction, right?
No, I mean,
the whole
a loss on Saturday night would be, I mean, yeah, it would be completely, whether it was right or wrong, fair or not, it would be completely blamed on distraction to the point that it might as well be true. Yes. And if they come out, they're not coming out flat. If they barely win the game, it's a win. At this point, you're not playing for style points. You're playing to win. If they win these next 2 games, they're going to the playoffs. If they win them both by 1 point, if they kick 2 field goals to beat Florida and Mississippi State, they're going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not going to make I mean, I'm sure somebody would. I would not write if they won a 7-point game, for example, where it's kind of sluggish. I wouldn't write this team was distracted. I might write this team was tight. But no, if they win, I mean, they've won a whole bunch of one-possession games. They've lost one-possession game. So if they played another one-possession game and won it, that would be unfair to write that. If they come out and lose the game to a team that just lost by 31 points at Kentucky, it would be, whoa. You could write whatever the hell you want to write. You wouldn't be able to be critical enough.
All right. Well, appreciate taking my call.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Hold on, caller. I'm getting to you. Hey, caller, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, let me try to get to you. Hold on. The calls are coming in so fast that I'm having a hard time getting to you.
I'm here.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Hold on. All right, you're on. Go ahead. Hey, who's this?
It's Austin from Fairhope. How we doing, Neal?
Hey, Austin, I'm good. How are you?
I'm making it. Just walking the dog with the wife. I'm only going to say one thing about the coaching thing at the risk of upsetting the entire stream, and then I'll move on. But I'm not going to lie. My heart skipped a beat a little bit earlier when you said Ole Miss has announced an agreement. I was like, Lane Kiffin. And, yeah, that wasn't it.
Oh, yeah, no. Sorry.
No, all good. The coverage has been great. I'm sure it's been pretty stressful for y'all. But anyway, I got a question about I was listening to Andy Staples. By the way, if the stream starts getting super mad, let me know. I'll hang up. If I was listening to Andy Staples the other day, he was talking about Texas Tech signing kids to longer than 1 year, like 2-year deals or something. It might just be an example, but how is that even enforceable? Like, has that actually been done?
Yeah, I don't know how all that holds up. I mean, the NIL space, man, is just so weird right now. I don't know. I'll be honest, I haven't gotten into a lot of that with the whole multi-year thing. And, I mean, I think it's inevitable that there's privatization with college football and maybe men's college basketball to the point where some of this stuff gets multi-year contracts that are truly enforceable are, you know, I mean, the multi-year stuff, the multi-NIL deal, I guess is I guess you could do those deals, and if the player stays, then the deal is in place. But the way it works, the player could get in the portal. I guess getting in the portal would negate the deal. So I don't. To answer your question, I don't really know.
Yeah, because I mean, I figured there's no way the NCAA can enforce that, but so how close is Chase to announcing a baseball game? We got any movement there yet?
Yeah, I don't think tonight's the night to get into that. No, there's no movement. Yeah, I mean, let's read the room here, Austin.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you were tired of repeating yourself, so I was trying to lighten the mood.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. No, I mean, look, it's part of the job. We're like I said, we're going to cover it, and I mean, both of us have been kind of hoping it would just go away because next week was supposed to be an open date, and you know, neither one of us really feel like spending our holiday doing this, but it is what it is. I mean, it's not the first Thanksgiving that's going to be ruined, and it probably won't be the last. if that comes to pass.
Well, yeah. Well, I hope for, as a fan, I hope that doesn't happen. But I hope for y'all's holiday and y'all's family that doesn't happen for y'all.
Thank you. I appreciate that, buddy. Enjoy the walk.
Yeah. All right. Yep. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Bye. Hey, caller, you're on.
Hey, Neal, how are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you? Who's this?
I'm good. This is Craig from Wichita. I'm glad to be calling you from Kansas, so you can say you have a national show now.
How about that? Yeah. In Florida, Alabama, Kansas. Yep.
I mean, come on, you're just crossing all the T's and dotting the I's here. Hey, since day one, everybody at Florida's been like, Lane Kiffin's our guy, right? And
yep.
My question to you is, what kind of immense pressure is Scott Strickland under to get Lane? Like, what does this do from the Florida perspective?
It's a great question.
If they don't get him, yeah.
It's a great question. I believe that they being the UF administration has been told that you are to get him. Period. I feel like I can safely say that. Obviously, he has to agree to do it. And what happens if they don't? I don't think it would bode well for Strickland long term. I don't know that he's in great shape anyway. I think some of the stadium expansion stuff there is the reason that he got the extension that he got. Obviously, he hired Todd Golden, who won a national championship, and has a top program there in basketball. But they've had some other issues. The baseball thing, I think they've had some women's basketball issues. I mean, it hasn't been smooth sailing. And the Billy Napier hire was Scott's, and it was a disaster. So I would think this is a big moment in time for him there. And look, and I'll be honest, this is one of the weird parts about this is I don't think if everybody was being honest, I don't think Lane Kiffin is who Scott Strickland would pick, and I don't think Scott Strickland is an AD that Lane Kiffin would really want to deal with. So I don't. In a world where Lane went there, the power dynamic there would get weird fast because I don't think Lane would have the relationship with Strickland that he has with Carter.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Obviously fit isn't everything, and listen, I know the Lane can say it's not about money, but boy, that sure helps things, doesn't it?
Yeah, but he's going to make the money anywhere. I mean, the money's done. The money's done. I mean, I'm telling you, the one part that when he says it, I'm like, I get it. I mean, it's easy to say when you're about to sign a 10-figure deal, right? 8-figure deal. But it's not. This isn't going to be a highest bidder wins thing. That ain't it. That's not. It's just not. This is a guy that's going to be making. I mean, I don't know this number 100%. Okay, but if you made me bet.
Yeah,
I would bet this is a person that's making at least $13.5 million next year somewhere.
Oof,
I mean,
that's a real number.
So yeah, I mean, so it's not about it's not. This isn't an auction. That's not it.
Yeah. So with that in mind, like, does fit matter from a Lane perspective, in your opinion, with Scott Strickland to the point, like with the Florida brokers and all that stuff? Like, do you think that goes into consideration for him with how much of a?
I don't know.
I mean, it was told me about two. Go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, Lane, and this is going to sound critical, and I don't mean it to be this way, but I mean, Lane's not. That's not who he is. I mean, he's not going to be. I mean, his deal is he wants autonomy with this program. He wants all the resources he can get, and then he goes from there, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, the only thing I'll say this year, there have been some kind of warning signs a little bit with like the stuff about the Washington State crowd, and he made the crack about the when he walked in for the week of the Georgia game, and there weren't many reporters in the room, and he's like small crowd, and it's like there's just little things that you go, boy, are you looking for reasons? I mean, it's if you're looking for reasons to break up with your girlfriend, you can probably find them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
yeah, for sure.
all of a sudden she talks too much or she talks too loud or, just it's little stuff. And, I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying my antenna's gone up a few times this year.
Yeah. Well, last question. Just this is your opinion too, by the way, but like, how would you say Keith Carter is handling all this and is handling the Ole Miss program? Because it's a tough spot that he's in. So just from your opinion, what do you think?
I think he's done a phenomenal job. I think he's doing everything he possibly can to keep Lane. And then I think he's also doing everything he possibly can to keep the program in a good position moving forward, whether it's Lane or anybody else. I mean, I think, and again, I said this at the beginning of the show, I know someone will hear this and go, oh, he's just kissing his buddy's ass. I like Keith, and I think Keith respects me, but we're not pals. We don't run in the same circles.
Yeah.
I mean, he's much closer to Chase than he is me. So me saying that, I mean, I'm saying that because I think he's doing a really good job. And I say the same thing about Boyce. And as I said earlier in the show, I've never met Boyce. He and I've never met one another. I highly doubt he knows who I am. So, I don't, me saying that should have some significance to it, because if they were doing terribly, I would tell you, because I made fun of Pete Boone. I made fun of Jeffrey Vitter. There have been people in the past that I thought were frankly incompetent. These guys I think they've done a remarkable job with Ole Miss and with the athletics program and supporting football and supporting Lane and doing everything possible to make it easier for him to compete for championships. I do. And then I think Lane's done his part too, right? And so, I don't, like I said this earlier, I'll repeat it. I probably get into the broken record portion of this where I'm just talking but in a world where he leaves, there's no blame at Ole Miss. Yeah. There will be people who will do it and they're wrong. They've done everything. They've done everything they can and are doing everything they can to retain him, to make him happy, to make it easier for him to compete nationally, all of those things. In the single most difficult league in the country, if they win 2 games, if they win these next 2 games, they will have won 50 games going into the playoffs over 5 years. There are only 2 programs in the league that have won more games in that time period. You probably can guess who they are.
Yeah. Well, that's incredible. Neal, thanks so much. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You too.
Yep.
Hey, caller, you're on. Who's this?
They win 2 games. They win these next 2 games. They will win. Neal, this is Rodney.
Hey, Rodney, what's up, man?
I'm all right, I guess. I just want to say this, and I appreciate all Lane has done at Ole Miss. He did a lot better than I thought he would, because I wasn't for sure at first, but he gave us 6 great years.
Yeah.
Even though last year I feel like he come up short. To put it in perspective, to all the talent they had, it was a failure last year not getting to the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if he can get there this year, he's made up for it. And if he leaves, I just have to say good luck to you. And I just hope Ole Miss is ready to go find another good coach. And I want to name one guy, you'll allow me.
Sure. Go for it.
I know they're not going to listen to me. I think that guy from Washington State would be a good head coach.
Yeah, I don't
can't think of his name.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I don't know enough about him to comment one way or the other at all. I don't know. He did a good job.
Yeah, I'm just throwing out a name that's different.
Yeah,
but I think Ole Miss can get another good coach.
Sure.
I don't know if he'd be as good as Kiffin, but
I mean, I
trust Carter.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit with that part of the conversation. But yes, in a world where he elects to leave or whatever, I think it's an attractive job that they would be able to recruit from a talented pool. The key thing would be, timing. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're picking, you're trying to recruit a coach weeks after
I need to ask
everybody
you a
else
question,
everybody
Neal,
else is
if you
hired.
don't mind.
Sure.
if you don't mind, I want to see what you think about this. Now, I think we'll make the playoffs. We need to beat Florida and State, but if we get there and he goes to Florida, do we allow him to coach that out? I don't think he can, but what do y'all think?
No,
what do you think?
Yeah, we've kind of already covered that ground tonight. We're a couple hours into the show.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
No, it's okay. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. If he's the next coach at Florida, he's not coaching the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, I have heard you say that in the past, but I didn't hear it tonight's discussion. But I feel the same way. Just no way.
Yeah.
But anyway, he gave us 6 great years. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, I hope he stays now. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
But we don't need to get so upset and just act like we're the victim when you go out and get another good coach.
Yeah, that's all you can do, right? I mean, if it comes to that, that's what you have to do. I mean, it's simple as that. There's no question.
You and Chase, don't let this mess up y'all's holidays. I mean, good grief.
Well,
it ain't all that serious.
It'll do that, Rodney. I can promise you that. Thanks for the call, man.
All right, bud.
Mark, thank you for the super chat. It's very nice of you. I appreciate that very much. I don't know if I've missed any other ones. If I have, I apologize. There's been no way for me to keep up with the stream and do what I'm doing. But thank you, Mark, very much for the super chat. Appreciate that quite a bit. Yeah, if it comes to pass, it will absolutely mess up the holidays, but that's okay. Thanksgiving in 2022 was pretty traumatic. That was a long day. It was a long week. That was a long 2 weeks. That was something else. There was a lot there. All right, phone lines are open. If anybody wants to call in, I'll take a few more. We usually go about 2 hours on the show, and we're an hour and a half in, including the countdown. It's 1:41 on the show. I'm watching Purdue Alabama basketball right now on ESPN2. Alabama trails Purdue by 1 midway through the first. That's a second-ranked Purdue, 8th-ranked Alabama. Alabama has a really long, talented backcourt. All right, trying to get to you. Hang tight. All right, you're in. Hey, caller, who's this? Hey, caller, you're in.
This is Dave McCarty from Tupelo, Mississippi.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Good stuff. Good. How are you?
I'm good. Turn your device. Turn your device
down.
down.
This is my first time calling in.
Okay. Thank you for calling.
We good?
Yep.
Okay. So, what's up, Neal? How you doing?
I'm good. Go ahead. You're on.
Okay. So, my question is so like the thing with Florida, I feel like Kiffin has it kind of made here. I feel like Florida. I don't feel like they would give him as much leeway. Just want to know like what you thought about that, and like I feel like here he has everything he kind of wants. Didn't know what you thought about that.
Well, I mean, I can't speak to what he wants, so I don't know that. The leeway part, absolutely. I mean, he's not going to go anywhere that bends over backwards as much as Ole Miss does for him and has for him. In terms of giving him everything he wants, not making him do a lot of the public stuff that he doesn't want to do, people leaving him alone, kind of putting up with, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but kind of putting up with his idiosyncrasies. I mean, again, his dog's the mascot. I mean, they do a lot of they do a lot of stuff with him. So will anybody else do that for him any more than Ole Miss does? It'd be hard pressed for me to imagine. The what he wants part, I can't comment on that because I don't know what he wants, right? I don't know that anybody's ever said, "Hey, Lane, what do you want?" I'm sure people have, but I haven't had that conversation to know what he wants or doesn't want. I've covered him for 6 years, and I've only had a handful of kind of conversations with him, and really never anything that was personal much at all. So I can't comment. I can't comment on that part.
Yeah, and this is kind of another thing. Like with Florida, I feel like some of the things with Florida, I'm not really sure how true this is, but some of the kind of like false promises, like you just kind of look at like Jaden Rashada and stuff like that. I'm not really sure how that worked out, but just kind of from like an outside perspective looking in, just didn't know like how much like a coach, like a potential coach for Florida could trust them and like trust like what they're offering.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never covered Florida. I don't know. I don't know, whether they're I don't know what promises are being made or are being proposed and what are the odds of them fulfilling those promises. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know. I'll let you get back to it.
I could sit here and pretend, but it would be be disingenuous. All right. Thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
I got you. I appreciate it.
So where Shohei Ohtani wins the MVP. It's not exactly a shock there that that would happen. Trying to get to you, caller. My phone's acting weird all of a sudden. Probably because it's a little overwhelmed. Yeah, I accidentally hit the wrong button there. I apologize. So call back and I'll try to get to you if I see it pop up. Yeah, 4th MVP in 5 years. Yeah, I think he's the best player to ever play the game. I don't think it's particularly debatable. Yeah, the phone's a little overwhelmed right now, so hang tight. It's trying to catch up. Here we go. What is the deal? All right. Hey, caller, you're on. Hey, caller, you're on.
Neal, hey, quick question, and I don't even know how to word it properly.
Okay.
But if everyone's trying to break the news of Kiffin leaving, what does it take for an actual media outlet to break the news? Like, what kind of
where you wrote that he was?
Do they have to actually publish it?
You'd have to have multiple sources that were confirming it. And in this case, you'd pretty much have to run it by. You'd have to run it by Kiffin himself. You'd have to run it by Ole Miss. You'd have to tell somebody that. Frankly, this was one of the mistakes of the Sokolov thing that was Ole Miss's fault. Is that John spent that day telling Ole Miss, "Hey, I've got this. I need to ask Lane," and they never got the opportunity. And then when he felt like he had one more source, he ran with it. He wrote it too strong. But, I mean, I think we're probably approaching that point where someone is going to try to advance the story to that place. I'm not there yet. I couldn't do that right now. I don't have that.
But in the event someone advances it, I mean, is Kiffin going to be? I guess my question is he going to know that it's going to be written, or is it a chance he could be blindsided if he's trying to keep this whole thing under wraps the best he can?
Okay, well, all I can do is what I would do. Let's say I had this where I felt.
Sure, that's a hypothetical.
Yeah, if I felt like I had this where I was close to writing it, I would reach out to him. I would reach out to the media people at Ole Miss quickly with hey, this is urgent. I have a report that a story I'm about to publish that says this. I would like a comment from Lane, and at that point, if that was told, hey, that's not happening, I would say, well, I'm going to say that I reached out to you guys and that commented, and that's usually at that point someone will tell you. You usually, when you get to a place where you have multiple sources and you go to the actual source, someone will if you're wrong, they will tell you if you report that you're wrong.
Sure.
And then if they don't say anything, you kind of know at that point, right? And sometimes you'll get a confirmation. I mean, I asked Hugh Freeze that night, did you resign? And he responded with, I was fired. I knew that Matt Luke had been fired. I confirmed it with people close to Matt that night. And so I was kind of able to go that way. I think did I lose you?
So if an article like that, if an article like that gets published next week, could you see this weekend being Kiffin's last game as a head coach for Ole Miss?
Yeah, I mean, we're into a really weird hypothetical. I I don't know what that would look like if it happened. I mean, I think we're ahead of
Too
ourselves.
deep on the hypothetical.
Well, we're a little way ahead of ourselves, right? I mean, again, at the risk of just sounding broken record, this is going to be a topic on Saturday, and certainly Saturday night. He's win or lose, he's going to be asked about this, and if Florida media is going to be here because the Gators are in town. They're going to be covering Lane more than they're covering the actual team. I mean, he's going to have to address it to some degree, and in what he says or doesn't.
I just think with the noise of today, even though it may be hearsay, it's just gotten so awkward. I feel like you said, he can't continue to dance around this. Something is going to have to be somewhat addressed. And maybe I'm crazy. It just seems Keith is going to. I don't know how that's going to go. It's going to go on their Sunday standing meeting.
No, I mean, look, I think a lot will come out of what happens on Saturday, and then in the aftermath of that, I mean, at some point, both Ole Miss and Florida, and anybody else who's involved, and I think it's basically just the two of them, are going to want. They're going to ask. They're going to say they have to have an answer, right? And then, what does that look like? I don't know. I mean, this kind of, you don't really see this very often. You don't see.
No, you don't.
This kind of thing, and so I've covered. I'm old. I've covered a lot. I don't recall ever covering this. The Kiffin thing in 2022 was different, right? Because like that night that in Arkansas that got everybody all upset. Number one, the game didn't mean anything. Neither of those teams were in the national race that night. Arkansas clearly wasn't. And Ole Miss had just fallen out of it by losing to Alabama. The game was an SEC network game. It was a weird week. The game was a blowout in the first half, et cetera, et cetera. This is a completely different deal. Ole Miss has playoff aspirations. Florida's already fired the coach. They're playing each other. I mean, Lane wasn't considering going to Arkansas. He was considering going to Auburn. It was different. This is going to be a weird day Saturday, and he's going to get asked about it, and his answers will be fascinating, one way or the other. Because if he says nothing at all, because I'm not talking about that, if he pulls the, I don't talk about these things during the season, which I don't think he'll do, by the way.
Correct. The same old stuff.
If he says that, that's if you're Keith, you got to go, hey man, we can't do this. Because at some point, here's the thing, right? If Lane knows he's staying, which I don't think he does, for the record, if Lane knows he's staying, he's getting into danger zone area in terms of hurting himself, hurting his program, wounding his fan base, etc. So every day now from this point forward that he doesn't end it is a day that tells you that he's really considering not ending it. And at some point, Ole Miss has to go, hey, we can't go here. And Florida does too. I mean, Florida, from a Florida perspective, they can't risk holding the bag. They can't risk going, okay, you know what? We're going to believe you that you're coming. We're going to believe we've got you, and then let you coach at Ole Miss until December the 20th, and then you win. And then you coach again on January the 1st, and maybe you win or maybe you lose, but you have some epiphany and you decide that you just can't do it. They can't go there. They have to get answers. So we're going to get resolution sooner rather than later.
Do you believe any of the reports that they may have verbally agreed to anything, or is that just absolutely ridiculous?
I don't know.
Hypothetical?
No. I mean, I know that people. Has anybody reported that, or is that just people saying that? There's a difference. Is there a media? Is there a media report?
I don't know. No, I had no.
Okay.
I haven't.
I mean, I don't know that
any actual media thing.
I don't know that I believe that. I don't know that I would be willing to like bet my life against it, but I don't know that I believe it. I think
sure.
I think it's improbable that he has. It's certainly possible, perhaps big word, perhaps that maybe his agency has, but I don't know that either. Mm-hmm. So no, I'd have to know a lot more before I would. But if someone's reported that, like in a news outlet, then This thing doesn't make.
I have not seen a report from actual.
Yeah.
I don't know. Other than the crazy ass Florida people.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about media. Legit. If a legitimate media outlet reports that there's been a verbal.
No, I've not.
Yeah, if there's ever a media report that there's been a verbal agreement, he'll have to respond to that quickly, one way or the other.
All right. Well, you have a good evening.
You
Thanks,
too.
Neal.
Thank you. Hey, caller, you're on. Who's this? Hey, caller, you're on.
This is Roy from Huntsville. How's it going, Neal?
Hey, Roy, what's up, man?
This is Roy from Huntsville.
Yep. How are you, Roy?
Not much, man. I just got a little question that nobody's really brought up. Ole Miss pours all these resources in, pretty much anything anybody would want to have a successful football program. Say Lane Kiffin does leave or whatever. What does that really say about your program? Are you still like a stepping stone program?
No.
Or is it?
No, I mean,
I'm just trying to wrap my head around.
No, it would just, if in a world where he left, it would just say that he viewed a different program as a better opportunity for him. That's it. That's it. No, you're not a stepping.
Yeah, I totally get that. I'm just.
Yeah, you're not a stepping stone. And look, I've said this. It wasn't popular. People got mad at me when I said it. I mean, I would disagree with if he decided to go to Florida over Ole Miss. It would be my opinion that he was making a mistake. I am not one of the people. I do not think that it would mean that everything he said about Oxford and Ole Miss was a lie. I know that's an unpopular thing, but it's what I feel. I don't think he owes Ole Miss the rest of his career. I don't think he owes Oxford the rest of his life, any of those things. I would disagree. I would think he was making a mistake. There are jobs that if they were offered and he accepted them, I would go, I totally get it. Alabama, Georgia, Texas, probably. I would go,
sure.
Yep. I would go, yeah, totally get it. NFL, if he decided to scratch the NFL itch, I would get it. I'm of the opinion that the Florida job is not that good of a job. I don't think it's a blue blood job. Frankly, even with all the crazy stuff at LSU, if you offered me the LSU job and the Florida job, I would take the LSU job. I think it has a higher ceiling. I think that's been proven. Steve Spurrier won at Florida. Steve Spurrier won everywhere. Urban Meyer won at Florida. Urban Meyer won everywhere. A lot of other cats didn't win at Florida who had won at other places. Look at LSU.
Right.
LSU, yeah, Nick Saban won the championship, and you can go, well, it's Nick Saban. He would win at Alaska Tech. Fair enough. Les Miles won a championship at LSU.
Right.
Les Miles won at LSU. Ed Orgeron put together maybe the best team in college football history. Won the national championship and the Heisman and damn near everything else that year in 2019 at LSU. So, I mean, I would, as much as it's not popular, if he were saying, hey, I'm going to LSU, I'd be like, well, I mean, it's kind of crazy down there, and boy, you're going to have to press the flesh, which is something you don't like to do. But from a pure football standpoint, I get it. Florida, I don't get it.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I'm just,
but
living here in Alabama, or whatever, you always hear the stuff about it's just Ole Miss still, but they've won pretty much just as much as Alabama has over the past 5 years, minus, the playoff runs and stuff like that. But win, loss, or whatever, Ole Miss is hung right there in with the top dogs and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing Ole Miss hasn't done that Georgia and Alabama have done the last 5 years is the playoffs, and they're on the cusp of making. They're on the cusp of making the playoffs. I mean, Alabama's a blue blood job. Georgia, I think people push back on this, and it's fine. Whatever. These are my opinions. It's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with them. I think Georgia's a blue blood job. I think Texas is, from a resource standpoint in this environment, pretty close to a blue blood job. Everybody else, I mean, you could talk me into Tennessee, I guess. You could talk me into LSU. Probably LSU probably is when LSU's good, it's great.
Right.
But Florida, I don't get it. But it doesn't matter what I think. All that ultimately matters is what he
I think it's just Lane Kiffin's mind or whatever.
Yeah, it's what he thinks. It's what he thinks. Somewhere. Yeah, I mean, if he's convinced himself, if he's convinced himself that that's a superior job and one that he can't imagine, if he says to himself, hey, I just have these fears that in a year or 2 years or 3 years I would look back and go, oh my God, I can't believe I had that job and I didn't take it. He's got a decision to make. I don't know that that's what he thinks, for the record, but
right.
If
like
beauty's in the eye of the beholder,
like
right?
Next year and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, looking ahead to next year and stuff like that. Say make a deep playoff run, he's still there. He makes the last minute decision, goes to Florida. I mean, Ole Miss is pretty much holding the bag, trying to put a roster together.
Yeah,
next
well,
year
that's not.
they got all these portal heavy.
That's not going to happen.
And stuff.
That's not going to. I mean, again, and you may have not heard the whole show, but that is not going to happen. They're not. This isn't.
Time's of the essence. No matter where he goes or who our coach is, you have to get ready for next year and stuff. So.
Yeah, this is not dragging into January. This is not. I don't think this is dragging into December.
Always got to think ahead, right?
Yeah, always in anything. I mean, in any facet of life,
sure.
in any facet of life, you always have to be prepared. Sure.
All right, Neal, I appreciate you taking my call. I'm gonna go back to my bourbon sipping and watching football tonight, and maybe turn some basketball on for those people who like it.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Neal. Have a good one.
I'm reading a text. Caller, I'll get to you in 1 second. Hang tight. You're on. I'll get to you in 1 second. Tyler Comas, who works with us at Rebels 24/7, said that he listened to Reb Talk, David Kellum. He says they danced around it. Kiffin took one of Kellum's questions a little out of context, seemed to somewhat mention the situation. He said he looked uncomfortable the whole time. So take that for what it's worth. Thanks to Tyler for the reporting. I appreciate that. Hey, who do we have?
Hi, Neal.
Hey, who's this?
Hey, this is Davis.
Hey, Davis. What's up, man?
Hey, how we doing?
I'm good.
I got a couple things for you. So, obviously we have the bye week coming up. Do you think so we've already obviously discussed the fact that there's no way that we're going to let him coach the playoff if he hasn't made a commitment. What do you think it's going to – is this just going to be basically more of the same during the bye week? I mean, do you think this is just going to be frenzied speculation till the day after the Egg Bowl or possibly till the final playoff rankings come out?
I mean, possibly, but I don't think so. I mean, again –
like how
he's going to get asked about it Saturday night, right? If he doesn't give you an answer, if the answer's a non-answer, that is an answer at this point. That is an answer at this point. You're going to know a lot. You're going to know a lot Saturday night.
When you say so, he's obviously going to. I mean, his words are going to say nothing. When you say that you'll say nothing, but you'll be able to tell a lot from it. Well, I mean, do you mean body language? What do you mean?
Yeah, everything. Well, he's going to say something. He's going to be given an opportunity to talk about the Florida job. Have you talked to Florida? Do you have an offer from Florida? Have you accepted an offer from Florida? If he dances around those questions, that's pretty right. I mean, you're just going to know. You're going to have a much better idea. And the people at Ole Miss, they've been in constant communication with him. At some point, they're going to say, hey, we got to know what's going on. And that's coming. I mean, in the same way that the Florida people are going to need to know. I mean, Florida plays its last game of the season the day after the Egg Bowl against Florida State. And after that, they need a coach in place.
Yeah, that's right. And also, last question, let's say he does go, and that, like you've said, that will be, we make the playoff, knock on wood, we make the playoff and he does go. You might have touched on this earlier, but at that point, probably Pete Golding is the interim coach, don't you think?
I don't know. This is where we get into hypotheticals and stuff that I'm not comfortable going there yet. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay. Well, whether it's Pete Golding or not, I guess whoever's the interim coach, if they win a playoff game or two, is there any way you cannot hire them?
I mean, we're just getting way ahead. I mean, I understand the question, but I don't. There's no benefit for me in trying to guess on that. I don't know what Keith Carter, Glenn Boyce would do in a scenario like that, and right now that's purely a hypothetical, right? I don't know who they would put in that spot or what that would look like, or and then my stance on interim coaches. I think anytime, I don't care what game it is, anytime that you're making a decision based on the outcome of one game, you're making a bad decision.
Yeah, you're probably making an emotional, irrational decision, but I just
well, you're not probably making an emotional, irrational decision. You are making an emotional, irrational decision. That is precisely what you're doing, and that's never good.
Can you recall? I mean, since the playoff, I mean, playoffs been here 10 years, 12 years, something like that.
Yeah,
Has there ever been a situation?
No, but this is only year 2 of a 12-team playoff. Like, I mean, this is
no. But I'm just saying, has there ever been a situation where a playoff-bound coach, like I understand DeBoer left Washington after.
Yeah, and that was after. That was after the championship. Yeah.
Has it? I mean, I can't remember another time where it was okay, maybe a coach may leave a playoff-bound team.
I mean, Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame
before the playoff.
Yeah, Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame when Notre Dame was still technically in the playoff race is probably as close as I can get to it. It's an awful look. If he does it, it's a terrible look. Okay, I mean,
I think it's as bad as what he did to Tennessee. I mean, I think it looks awful, and all this.
I think it looks worse. It looks worse than Tennessee. It looks worse than Tennessee.
Yeah.
Look, if he does it, hold on a second. If he does it, it's worse than Tennessee. He left Tennessee after one season, after the regular season was over, to go to his dream job at a place where he'd been. And not only where he'd been, but where he'd been when they were on top of the world. Man, that was Pete Carroll and Steve Sarkisian and Lane and Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and the whole Carson Palmer. I mean, USC was the toast of the college football world for a while. And he had been part of it. So you could understand how he could have been romantic about that place, right? Totally get it. This would be bailing on a playoff team before the playoffs start to go to a place that you just presumably beat that has sucked for the last 5 years. It would be it's the one thing, and I've said this 6 times on the show, it's the one reason that I don't want to do a bunch of hypotheticals about what would happen if, is because there's a part of me that just doesn't deep down believe that he's capable of doing that. It's such a bad look.
Yeah. I don't know. The sad thing is I'm only 27, but, this is the pinnacle of Ole Miss football in my lifetime. Probably in anybody under the age of 50's lifetime. We're 9-1. For the first time ever, we're going to have a chance to maybe make the playoff. And we can't even enjoy it. I mean, we can't enjoy it. We're sitting here right now. I mean, this is your job, but it's, we're big fans. Everybody's a big fan. Like, we can't savor the moment. Like, this is what we've been waiting our whole lives for. And instead of, like you look at Indiana, Signetti, they locked him up. They can enjoy this. Like, I'm having a hard time even thinking about the game in 2 days.
Yeah.
It's just sad. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I get the frustration. I totally understand it. Don't get me wrong. I'm pouring a beer. We've hit that point of the night.
That'll make 2 of us.
I think the word sadness it's a little early for that. That's all I'm saying. It's Florida wants him. I think they've basically made an offer known. I've heard what I believe is probably an accurate description of the offer, and it's big. But again, I've got to see before I'm going to completely believe this. I have to see someone walk away from a playoff team. I mean, that's not something you see from coaches much. Walking away from a playoff team. Now, look, they haven't made the playoffs yet. And there's a world where 10-2 losing to Mississippi State puts you in a weird spot. So even the playoff talk is a little premature. You have to win these 2 games. And, you know, they didn't win this game a year ago when it would have absolutely gotten them into the playoff. So you got to win playoff games first. But in a world where they win these 2 games and they're in the playoffs and they have the bid in hand, it's just hard for me to imagine, but we'll see.
We will see. This is the one guy that's capable of doing it, though, unfortunately.
I don't know. I mean,
You know.
that's to me, that's not fair to say about him until he does it. Again, you're too young to fully understand how good USC was, how big of a deal USC was, how glamorous that was, how that opportunity to go back there had to have been intoxicating. I mean, I don't hold the Tennessee thing against him. I'm sorry, I don't. I understand it was bad. They made people mad there, but USC was a premier job. He had been a part of that place when they were on top of the football world. He and his wife had started their family there. All of those things. I don't. That's, to me, the USC comparison's not a good one at all.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, you're right. It's probably apples to oranges.
No, I mean, it's apples to jet planes. It's not even the same thing. And he's acknowledged. I mean, that was different. It was a different thing. It's not the same.
Yeah, you're right. Well, Neal, I appreciate it. Love your show and follow the board, so I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much. Hey, caller, who's this? Hey, caller, who's this?
Hey, Neal, this is Blockhead from Alabama. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. How are you? What's up in Alabama?
It's been cold the last few days, but it was, back up to 70 something. So sweaty.
Yeah, I went running today and it was sweaty.
I need to do some more of that.
Me too. I'm a fat ass these days, man. I'm such a fat ass right now. I've got to just hammer through it and do it. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I echo the sentiment. I turned 40 this year and have gotten back into running a little bit. I never have enjoyed it in my younger years, but I enjoy it now. And but coaching baseball and all the sports, football this fall, you just kind of takes up a lot of your time. So, anyways, I was gonna ask you if you'd heard anything. I know you've been on the phone a lot lately. Just curious if you've heard any of the other openings. Kind of seemed earlier like you knew that other schools were kind of getting down the road with some candidates. I was just curious if you had any ideas or anything you could share about who those might be at some of the other schools.
I mean, a little bit. I haven't spent a lot of time on it. I really haven't had time. And if it wasn't Kiffin related, I really haven't spent much time on it. I haven't spent any time on it at all. I mean, I've stumbled across a few rumors and whatnot. I think Auburn is down the road a little with John Sumrall. I think they're kicking the tires at a minimum on Eli Drinkwitz. I think Penn State would like to hire Eli Drinkwitz. There's different people at Missouri that think he's staying. There's different people at Missouri that aren't so sure, that are starting to get suspicious. I know LSU is interested in Jeff Brom, but he looks like he's going to be off the table. I think LSU has some interest in John Sumrall. I think LSU has some interest in Joe Brady. There is still some LSU Lincoln Riley rumors that are out there that won't go away. Let me think. Arkansas has gone pretty hard after James Franklin, to the point of where they've put together, I believe, a pretty significant financial package on the table for him. I sort of anticipate that he's not going to take it based on what I've heard, but I'll give them credit for their pursuit. If Drinkwitz leaves Missouri, I think Ryan Silverfield becomes a really hot candidate at Missouri. Silverfield wants the Arkansas job. I think Alex Golish at South Florida wants the Arkansas job. I don't know what happens at Virginia Tech if they can't get James Franklin. They've been trying desperately for about 3 weeks to get James Franklin. I don't know what James Franklin is waiting on. Maybe he's waiting to see whether Lane takes Florida or not. In a world where Lane doesn't take Florida, maybe he becomes a hot candidate there. In a world where Lane takes Florida, maybe James Franklin's waiting on Ole Miss. I don't know that. I'm simply guessing.
Yeah.
So there's movement. The thing that another reason that I think this gets resolved soon with Kiffin is that I think Kiffin might be sort of the lynch
domino.
The first domino. I started to say bowling, but I didn't. Yeah. I don't know. You can still knock pins down if you don't hit the lead pin. I mean, you got to hit the lead domino.
Yeah.
You got to hit the lead domino right
Yeah.
to make the other dominoes fall. And so I think Kiffin. I think there's a world where Kiffin is viewed as the lead domino, one way or the other. And that includes staying, right? That includes, hey, he's not going. He's staying at Ole Miss. Okay, well, now the Florida job's open, et cetera. Or, yeah, he's leaving Ole Miss. Now the Ole Miss job is open, and boom, 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 boom. And so, I don't – there's a lot out there, and there's a lot of schools that have done a lot of work, obviously, to put themselves in position to – to make a hire as soon as the season's over. And again, I go back to that point, right? Auburn, even if Auburn's, I don't even know what their record is, even if they somehow qualify for a bowl game, they're not waiting for the stupid bowl game. Arkansas is not going to a bowl game. They're gonna hire somebody as fast, after that hell, they don't have to wait for the Missouri game if they don't want to. I mean, they could hire somebody here quick, right? But they're going to try to hire somebody really fast after their season finale against Missouri. And LSU, they're not going to the playoffs, clearly. They're going to want to hire somebody as fast as possible to get in there and work on retaining on the roster and get into all that stuff. So I think things just have to move quickly because that's just how it works.
Yeah. Well, hey, quick, one more question. You always talk about when you're on the bottom rung or the first rung off the floor on the ladder, when you're in the pit, you swing big, right? That's your time to take a chance on a coach.
Hey, real quick, let me tell Ben, you're right. I have never played dominoes. So if I missed a domino analogy, I apologize. I've never played. I don't know how it works. I wouldn't begin to know how to play dominoes. So forgive me if I made a stupid deal. I meant like the dominoes where you set up the dominoes and you put the first domino down and that's what I meant. I didn't mean
that's exactly what I meant.
I didn't mean the game. I meant like when you were a kid and you would knock the dominoes down.
That's right. That's exactly what I meant too.
All right.
We're on the same page.
Okay, good deal.
What I was getting at is you talk about your ladder analogy when you're at rock bottom. You swing for the fences. Right?
It's like where Arkansas is right now, right? I mean, that's like when someone said something about Gruden the other day, and I was like, well, that's probably stupid, but when you're 2-10 and you're dead last, that's when you take the big swing because what the hell? What are you going to do? You can't get really worse than 2-10, right? I mean, even if you go 1-11, there's no difference between 1-11 and 2-10. So yeah, I mean, that's when you're at the bottom. That's when you swing really hard, because if you fall, you might sprain your ankle. That's about the extent of it.
Right. Well, so my question is, given where Ole Miss is right now, on the total others, they're at the top, right? They're balancing. It's a balancing act at the top of the ladder.
Yep, near the top. Yeah.
How do you manage that? Do you
go out and you
familiar with?
In a world where
judge or I mean,
no.
What do you think?
No, if he leaves, you go hire a proven winner somewhere. No, you know how to do it. It's been done. You don't. Like if you're Arkansas right now, let's use them as an example. And I hate using Arkansas because I have kids and stuff, and everybody goes, "Oh, you're a fan." And it's not that. I'm using them as an example because they're right here. If you're Arkansas right now, if you're calling James Franklin, for example, you're having to convince him that you are committed to winning. You're having to convince him that you can win. Right? You're having to talk him into it. Ole Miss isn't in that boat right now.
We'll open the coffers. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to tell somebody, hey, look, we really believe that you can win here. No, they've won. You don't have to say, hey,
Right.
we really believe that we're going to be committed to putting together a really strong collective. Like Arkansas is having to convince people that, yeah, we screwed up the collective in the past. We're going to get it right this time. And so even if they are, let's take them at their word and let's say, yep, they've put a bunch of money together and now they're going to be in it for real. You still have people going, man, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know, right? Ole Miss isn't in that boat. Ole Miss is like, we did it. It's right here. Look at the roster we put together in 2023. Look at the roster we put together in 2024. You could do the same thing. You're hiring a proven winner. You're not hiring somebody who goes, well, I don't know. I'm probably not as good as Lane Kiffin. I don't know. No, you're hiring somebody who goes, yeah, I'm every bit as good as Lane Kiffin, right? So I think it's totally different. I don't think you're having to sales pitch as much as, if you were Kentucky right now, where it'd be like somebody would go, damn, you guys had Stoops for 10 years and he couldn't do it. What is up? Or Arkansas is the good example. Like, well, I mean, like, 'cause Sam Pittman's well thought of in the coaching fraternity, right? People like Sam. People go, well, he didn't win. You didn't give him the tools. Why should I believe you're going to give me the tools? Ole Miss isn't in that boat. They gave Kiffin the tools. And so when they go, we'll give you the tools, he would go, okay, well, you gave them to Kiffin. I guess you'll give them to me. And they'll go, yeah. So I think it's totally different. I mean, I think they're in a good spot. I don't think Ole Miss is at the bottom of the ladder. But I also think they're at a spot where they're pretty secure, right? I mean, Arkansas is the one right now that's standing on literally the bottom step of the ladder where it's like, well, we might as well swing as hard as possible. If we fall, we just land on our butt. We'll be fine. Nobody dies from falling on the bottom step of the ladder.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's kind of my intrigue is, who, if anything, you want to be very careful about who you pick and who you go after. And it's just curious, do you go after a Silverfield or a Brom or a Golish or, I mean, shoot, I don't know it, and you would know better than I do, but is somebody like Lanning or Ryan Day, Marcus Freeman, I mean, I don't know how much how attractive is them. I mean, it's certainly attractive, but like, are you swimming in those waters where those guys would leave?
You try to.
Schools they're at.
You try to, sure. I mean, absolutely. I mean, can't be afraid to
make them say no.
Make them say no and keep on to the next. I mean, I've always said I would pick up the phone, call Nick Saban. I know he's going to tell me no, but then I'm going to say, okay, now that you've said no, who would you hire? Give me 5 names.
Yeah.
I'd go that route. I'd talk to people who are in the profession, and I mean, my next coaching search that I conduct will be my first, but I sort of think I know generally how I would go about it.
All right, man. I appreciate everything. I'm looking forward to y'all's coverage. Certainly the next 7 days will be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Take it easy.
All right, we're well past the 2-hour mark. I think we've covered this ground. Appreciate everybody who called. Thank you. I did this by myself. I was always worried when I'm about to do it by myself that I'll just be talking to myself. But all right, I'll take one. Let's be last call. I'll take the last one. I'll take one final call, and we'll wrap it up there. Hey, caller, you're on. Hey, caller, you're on. Okay. Try a different one. Hey, caller, you're on. Hey, caller, you're on.
Neal, question. Your boy, your favorite coach, Hugh Freeze, I know you're all familiar with the sanctions and all that went down. If you're Kiffin and Strickland turned your brother in to the NCAA and got show calls, how do you, in your experience, how do you see that going down?
I would, if in a world where Lane left, that would tell me that he feels like he's not answering to Strickland. I don't know, man. It's a legitimate question. I don't know the answer to it. I really don't. I don't know what Lane thinks of that whole situation what he knows of it, what he thinks of it. I just don't know. I mean, I get where you're coming from on that, but like that was a long time ago, and I don't know. I mean, in a world where Lane left, I would assume he'd want Chris to come with him, and that would be, I guess it would be awkward, but
a little awkward, wasn't it?
But sometimes, stuff like that in that world, you'd be surprised, man. That world is a different. It's different than everybody's 9 to 5, And I listen. I don't think Strickland's long for that job one way or the other, but I don't think he's going to be marching into Lane's office telling him what to do. It's not going to be how it works. If that,
10-4. Well, thanks for the season.
Happens,
you have a good night.
Thank you. And that's if it happens. Be clear. That's if it happens. All right, we'll stop it there. Thanks to everyone who called. Got content at rebels247.com. I did a question and answer swap with Graham Hall, the Swamp 24/7. I'll get that to you at some point, probably early tomorrow. I was at basketball earlier today. Ole Miss is honoring former coach Rod Barnes tomorrow at the Tad Smith Coliseum. It's the final game that's being played there at Tad Smith. Ole Miss and Cal State Bakersfield. They're 2-1. Bakersfield is. So I'll have coverage of that tomorrow night at Rebels 24/7. And then, of course, we'll have complete coverage of Ole Miss entertaining Florida, 6 p.m. on Saturday. We'll have post-game coverage. Chase will have the MPW Digital post-game show with he and Jeffrey Wright, Tyler Siskey, Brian Rippey. I will join as quickly as I can after the post-game is done, and we'll kind of go from there. Should be certainly an interesting day interesting day and night in Oxford at Vaught Hemingway Stadium, and we'll cover it as thoroughly as we can at on the site. So until then, there is some content up. Obviously, earlier today, Pete's Pigskin preview, looking at DJ Lagway, the challenges that he presents with the Florida offense. That's up on the site, also here on MPW Digital. Neal's picks are up from earlier today. Tyler Comas has a story. We have a lot of content to you, so hope you enjoy it. And we'll have be with you all weekend long here at MPW Digital. And if something pops up that changes the story one way or the other, we'll launch an emergency live stream, emergency podcast. We'll get all that to you. So thanks again to everyone who called. Sorry for all the people that tried to call and I couldn't get to you. Apologize. Thanks to everyone in the stream. Big crowd today. Thanks for being with me. Have a great weekend. If you're traveling, please be safe. Talk to you again soon. Bye.